Hi guys, we have caught wild rats recently. Moreover, the priority task has been to catch so as not to harm the rodent and subsequently release it. Wild rats are unpredictable, and besides, they can be carriers of dangerous infectious diseases, so let them continue to live elsewhere, and we will tame their more domesticated co-brothers, which is much safer. We've bought ourselves one representative of this species. The rat turns out to be so tame, and it loves to be stroked. It is interesting to see how the rodent will react to a crayfish. We put the arthropod into a makeshift arena, and it immediately begins to crawl somewhere, and then the rat goes there. The rodent begins to find the way out of the arena. The crayfish is just motionless. We cannot say that they are strongly hostile to each other. At some point, the rat starts sniffing the crayfish, and that makes it stop pretending to be part of the interior. On the other hand, the bottom dweller doesn't mind much about being sniffed, but it could attack. Anyway, the battle or something like that hasn't happened. Okay, then we will try to catch a wild rat, since we already have experience, and check how it will react to the crayfish. At the same time, we will be able to put domestic and wild rodents through their paces. There is a stereotype according to which rodents love only all sorts of leftovers. In fact, rats and insects eat very well. At first, the rodent doesn't realize that this floundering creature can be potentially tasty. And then it's tasted it and begun to eat. Fortunately, the cockroach has a convenient shape so that it can be easily held by paws. It immediately eats the one and then starts the second. It's good when food comes at the time of appetite. While the process of catching a wild rat is going on, we will build a handmade rat house. The final result is a cell like this. It's time to move on to the arrangement. We install stairs between floors. Let's add some hanging toys on the first and second floors. In case the rodent's body requires salt or calcium, we equip the cage with special stones. By the way, the size of the hatch on the second floor is not spontaneous, but it's chosen precisely for the dimensions of the wooden house. The first floor in our view will act as a toilet, so we fill it with pellets. And to keep them from spilling out, there is a side around the perimeter. There will also be a dining room with water and a bowl for food. The house is equipped. We can proceed to the settlement. At first, the rat walks along the first floor and then hides under the bridge. In general, rats are social animals, so we have prepared a surprise. In addition to it, its own brother will settle in the cage. Together, in any case, it will be much more interesting and fun. Being pets, rats have a number of advantages. Besides the fact that they are small and do not eat much, these rodents are also omnivores. Here, for example, while one is eating porridge, the second has already eaten and is washing. But okay, porridge, they also do not refuse from fruits and vegetables. And let's add some comfort to the house. The next day, when we come to the hangar, we see an extremely interesting picture. Has there been a rat party there? And now the most interesting begins. We'll finally manage to catch a wild rat. And we've done this with the help of a trap that let us down several times, and we've already thought that it doesn't work. First of all, we will give the rat some water. Otherwise, we have not checked the rat trap for 2 days. Who knows how long it has been sitting? Although a wild rat is a pest, it's still a pity. And then we put it into a glass arena and cover with a lid. I wonder how a wild rat will react to a domestic one. For security purposes, acquaintance will take place through glass. And I must say, the reaction really turns out to be some kind of one-sided. The domestic one runs around trying to attract attention, while the wild one sits still and doesn't even seem to notice any movements on the other side of the glass. So it's the versus of the pincers against the cornered rat. What happens if the crayfish and the wild rodent are one-on-one? As soon as the crayfish is thrown to the rat, it immediately begins to taste it. But it seems that safety takes precedence over the instinct to satisfy hunger. If the crayfish doesn't pose a threat, then the rodent will not eat it just like that. Although it is obvious that in the food chain, the rat is above the crayfish. And in other conditions, the rat would definitely not stomach the crustaceans. And it sits down nearby, even puts its paw, saying, "Don't worry, the arthropod, we'll survive." By indirect evidence, we will assume that it is hypothetically stronger than cancer. And now it's time to release the entire team to freedom. We release a wild rat and it immediately begins to run. But the grass is tall and wet, so it has to jump instead of running. As a result, it's totally got wet and sits down to wash. We've bought crayfish at the market, so we don't know where their home is. Now arthropods will live here. Moreover, we've released not only the one who participated in the video, but also its other brothers. Today is all for now. Bye-bye.